So you meet a guy for the first time. You guys hit off immediately, and your first conversation is amazing. There's so much chemistry. You guys have witty banter. You got your personalities match so well, and you're really attracted to them. And you think they might be attracted too. So you go home, and for the next couple of weeks, you obsess over them. You fantasize. You fantasize about them, you fantasize going on dates with them, you fantasize getting married, getting in a relationship, you fantasize about talking again. Your imagination is going crazy and you're getting more and more and more obsessed with this person. It's living in your head rent free. This person is living in your head rent free. And you can't stop thinking about them. They keep showing up. You keep fantasizing about them before you go to bed. And this is unhealthy. It gets to a point where it's so unhealthy that the next time you see them, you feel anxious. You feel anxious. You feel nervous. You're scared that they won't match up to your fantasy. You're overthinking. Do they like me? Do they not like me? Do they like me? Do they not like me? You're overthinking their tiniest actions. Oh, they looked at me this way. Oh, they didn't seem as interested when I asked them this question. Maybe they don't like me. Oh my god, he waved to me. He definitely likes me. You're switching over and over again. This is not healthy, and this is known as limerence. When you have obsessive fantasies about someone and you're obsessively attached to someone that you've you don't even know that well. Like you just had one conversation and immediately you start obsessing over them. This is limerence. I used to have limerence a couple of years ago when I talked to this guy and we immediately hit off. He was pretty attractive to me and our personalities were matching perfectly. Like our sense of humor perfectly aligned. And then I started creating fantasies about him. I started fantasizing about him in my head. Fantasized us going on dates, him asking me out, him approaching me, fantasizing the entire story of how we're gonna get into a relationship together and how he's gonna ask me out and how we're gonna have such an amazing relationship together. And the next time I saw him, he was a little indifferent and distant, and we didn't talk the next time we saw each other. And I had a huge mood swing. And I took this very personally. When I tried to initiate with him and he acted that way, I was overthinking so much. Like, oh my god, am I not good enough? Oh, there must be something wrong. Why isn't he initiating? Why isn't he being warm with me? Why isn't he like approaching me? What happened? It's not aligning with the fantasy that I have in my head. Does he not like me? Oh no, I must not be pretty enough. All of these thoughts were spiraling around in my head, and my mood was crashing to the ground. Just by him not doing anything. I remember the entire day was ruined because of him acting this way, and I let my entire day be ruined, and I was so sad. After this happened a couple of times, I hated how powerless this made me feel. Like having your mood depend on entirely on one person. And then, oh my god, I was just so sick of it that I started Googling, what the hell is my problem? Why am I so obsessed with guys? And then I figured out that what I was going through was limerence. Now I've overcome it and I feel so free and detached from the opinions of guys that I just meet. And this is honestly the key for a healthy relationship. This is honestly the key to actually having a real life relationship in real life instead of just creating fantasy relationships about people you've just had one conversation with. So, limerence is when you obsessively think about someone and it's not actually a crush at all. It's not a crush because you don't actually like them. You like the idea of them. You like the fantasy of them that you created in your mind. And the reason you created this fantasy of them is to just make yourself feel better, to self regulate. You created this fantasy to make you feel happier and have some more excitement in your boring life, maybe. And this is what I did. Like, I created this fantasy of this guy because I really wanted to be in a relationship. I craved a relationship. So I wanted to make myself excited and feel as if my life was exciting by just fantasizing about all the things that I wanted to do with him. And this is unhealthy because it keeps you trapped in your imagination. It doesn't let you actually go out there and talk to that person and get to know them and progress the relationship in real life. You're just fine with that fantasy visualization of them because it's scary. You're scared of rejection. So you don't want to actually go and approach them and talk to them. And when you do approach them, and when they don't give you the response that you want, your mood sinks to the ground so fast and you feel terrible. You feel rejected. You feel insecure. It's a coping mechanism as well. The times when I was most limerent in my life, it was when I was going through periods of depression and I was feeling really anxious. So, just like TV and junk food, it's just a way to distract us from our problems and just self soothe ourselves. It, but it does screw up your love life, which is what I'm about to get into right now. It ruins your life because you're stuck in a fantasy world. It's all in your head, and you won't be able to make meaningful connections with that person in real life because of the fantasy you're having. Because of the fantasies, you're gonna feel anxious and nervous around this person. You're gonna feel hyper aware of them. You're putting them on a pedestal as if they were God. You're putting them on a pedestal like they're better than you and they're the perfect person. And everything depends on their little micro actions. If they show you a micro action that, oh, maybe they do like me, like maybe they text you out of the blue one day, you're gonna feel so euphoric and happy, like, yes, I am good enough. But then the next day, maybe they ignore you, maybe they're a little cold to you. You take that personally too. And your mood sinks to the ground. And it's just a huge pain to deal with your emotions fluctuating like that and just out of your control. You're giving away all your control to this person in the external world. And it's freaking sad. I am speaking from personal experience because I've been limerent for people. Oh my god, I've been limerent for so many people for years, for months, and nothing happened. Nothing progressed in our relationship except for me just obsessively fantasizing about them. And when I wanted to get to know them in real life, but I was just too nervous. I was just overthinking everything. And when I did talk to them, I would come off as too needy and anxious, and then that would just push them away, which no one wants, obviously. You don't want that. And the main point I'm trying to make here is that when you're limerent for someone, you depend too much on them and you're too attached to them. So when you talk to them, when you're trying to get to know them, like after you have one conversation, you're gonna come off as so desperate and needy and clingy by just in your energy. You're gonna scare them away. And then after you do that, after you push them away, you are gonna feel so insecure about yourself. Like, oh, I'm not good enough. They don't like me, so I'm not good enough. It's just a huge negative spiral. And I want you to get out of that immediately because I know how it feels. It's terrible. I want you to take back your power, feel confident in yourself, and feel at ease when you talk to attractive people that you want to get to know. And actually progress your relationship with them in real life. I'm going to teach you step by step how I got out of limerence using the example that I told you guys previously of the guy that I was limerent for. So first of all, what I did is that I realized that what I was feeling towards this guy was just limerence. It wasn't a crush, it wasn't true love, it wasn't love at first sight or like destiny that he was my soulmate. No. I understood that, oh, I'm just feeling limerence and this is normal and this is not really healthy and this is what I'm feeling right now. I didn't classify it as, oh, I have such intense feelings for this person. So that must mean they're the one. They're my soulmate. They're my destined partner. No. I just accepted the fact that, yes, I am limerent. They are not like my destined partner or whatever. After I was aware of that fact, I tried to figure out where my limerence really came from. Like, why do I feel limerent for certain people? And I did a couple journaling exercises on that, which I will put in the description down below. A couple of journal prompts that you can use to figure out, wait, where's my limerence coming from? Because usually your limerence, it forms because when you were a kid, you didn't feel good enough, you didn't feel loved at some point. So you wanted to create this fantasy person. You want to create fantasies of this person, this perfect person liking you back. So when this perfect person likes you back, tells you you're good enough, and gives you positive affirmations, you'd finally feel good about yourself. And you think that this person loving you means you're good enough and you're worthy of love and there's nothing wrong with you and you're perfect as you are. So we need to work on that. You can use a couple of journal prompts and understand yourself and learn to give yourself the love that you didn't receive while growing up. That was a huge part of my journey, learning to love myself, take care of myself, so I don't need to depend on the love of other people all the time. Have a desire to actually get out of your limerent state. Have a strong desire. Know that, okay, this is fantasy, this is not real. And unless I get rid of this, I won't be able to have the good, real relationships that I want in my life right now. You need to get over your limerence, get out of that state, because you are giving all your power to that person. You need to bring that power back, and you have to get rid of your desire for that person and your desire. You need to get rid of your limerence state and have a desire to get rid of that limerence state. Now, this tip saved me so much. Okay, this tip saved me so much. What you basically do is that whenever your limerent fantasy comes up, like let's say you're going to bed and that's when you usually start to imagine fantasies about this person, like you guys talking, you guys having fun conversations, like you just imagine that all in your head. What you want to do is interrupt that romantic fantasy with something completely unrelated. What I personally do is that when I'm starting to daydream and fantasize about this person, I immediately switch to immediately imagine both of us arguing. Both of us arguing and fighting over something in an angry way. They piss me off and I'm pissed at them. Both of us like arguing, and that snaps me out of that limerence fantasy immediately. So you give this a go too. The last note I want to make is that once you get out of limerence, life is so much better. Life is so dang better because you are not obsessed or attached with the guy anymore, like with an attractive guy that you meet. It feels so good because you're not overthinking every single interaction. You're letting things happen. And when you let things happen, when you release control and you're like, you know what, I'm hot, I'm good enough, I'm amazing, I love myself, you can feel so free when you talk to guys and get to know more people that you're interested in. I can actually have fun conversations with other guys that I'm into without being scared that, oh, Do they like me? Do they not like me? And without like obsessing over them and getting too attached to their opinion. I just let everything happen. I'm just here to have fun. And it's great. It works perfectly. I've noticed that now I don't push away guys anymore because I'm not clingy or needy. I'm detached from them. I don't fantasize about them, and I feel so detached and free and secure with myself. And I want you to do that for yourself too. I do not want you to depend your entire mood on a guy. I don't want you to put your entire self-worth on whether or not a guy likes you and thinks you're attractive. You need to put that on yourself. You need to give yourself that yourself. This is a huge part of detachment, and more people need to talk about this. Because you can't attract the relationship that you want without overcoming your limerence. Because a relationship, basically, you need to both be secure before you come together in a healthy relationship. You need to both be secure being alone, happy with your life, excited about your life, and then come together and make your life even more better by coming together. But your life was already good and amazing. But you just want this person because they'll make it better. Not because you're lacking something in your life. Like you have a void. It's not if you have a void in your life, like your life isn't exciting and it's boring and it's dull. Trying to get into a relationship is really hard for you. And it won't be as healthy as you want it to be because you'll be attached to this person. They're the ones bringing us excitement and happiness into your life. And since you can't give that to yourself, you're going to constantly depend on them to give it to you. And when you depend on them, you become needy. You want more. You want more. You want more. And sometimes when you're needy, it turns people off. It pushes them away. When you start to chase, they start to run. So firstly, work on yourself. Work on understanding yourself, healing yourself, making your garden beautiful, and then the butterflies will naturally come instead of you chasing after those butterflies. I am a living success story of overcoming limerence, and I'm so grateful that I did do that. It's given me peace of mind. I can comfortably talk to attractive people now because I don't get attached. I can comfortably talk to anyone, and I know that the right guy will find me at the right time. And I feel such at peace. Everything's gonna be okay. Oh my god. Okay. I hope you like this video. To recap, first step is to be aware you have limerence. Second step is to journal, understand where your limerence is coming from, really question it, and work on yourself. Third step, interrupt your fantasies. An action step is to, whenever the limerence fantasy starts popping up, you start imagining scenarios with them. Just bam, imagine something different, which is you both arguing. My personal favorite. That's how you deal with limerence, basically. And the last step is to educate yourself further on this topic. Limerence is a huge thing for detachment. It's so important for detachment, and detachment is essential for healthy relationships. Thank you for watching.